Imagine being forced to marry and sleep with your own brother, uncle, or cousin, all just to keep your family's bloodline pure. For centuries, royal families played with genetics, risking terrifying consequences to hold onto their power. Twisted family trees, tragic children, mental breakdowns, and secrets they never wanted the world to know. Today, we're diving into the shocking, tragic, and sometimes downright disturbing stories of history's most inbred women. And trust me, the woman at number 1 will leave you speechless. Kicking off our list at number 10, Isabella II of Spain, who reigned from 1833 to 1868. Her name is practically synonymous with the devastating effects of royal inbreeding. Born in 1830, her birth as a girl was actually a relief to her father, who was desperately searching for a male heir. But rumors about her and her sister's fragile health started early on. Because her origins were complicated, she was born from the union of an uncle and his niece. And to make things even more tangled, her grandparents were also her great-grandparents, making the family tree even more confusing. At just 16 years old, she was married off to her double second cousin. Isabella endured 11 pregnancies, but only 5 of her children survived infancy. And here comes the scandal. Historians widely believe that none of those children were fathered by her husband, hinting at a complex, possibly unhappy marriage, maybe influenced by his suspected homosexuality. Her reign ultimately ended in failure, losing the throne, leaving behind a tragic legacy deeply tied to her genetic inheritance. A tragic legacy, deeply intertwined with her genetic inheritance. Coming in at number 9, Marie-Louise of Austria. Sharing a similar burden of intense inbreeding, Marie-Louise was the offspring of double first cousins. Yes, her parents were indeed married. As the eldest of 12 children in a family defined by cousin marriages, tragedy was commonplace. Only 7 survived to adulthood. The sheer extent of their inbreeding is staggering. Marie-Louise, as the daughter of double second cousins, had only 4 unique great-grandparents. Compare that to the 8 most of us. At 18, she was thrust into a political marriage with her father's sworn enemy, Napoleon Bonaparte. Desperate bid for peace and the hope of a male heir. Imagine the weight on those young shoulders. A number 8. Step into modern times. Lorraine Whitaker, proof that the shadow of extreme inbreeding stretches far beyond ancient thrones. The Whitaker family, explored in a famous and unsettling video documentary, became infamous for generations of isolation and intermarriage. Lorraine stands as a stark product of this, widely recognized as one of the most inbred individuals documented in recent decades. She's also the mother of Tiny Whitaker himself, often cited as potentially the most inbred person alive today, a chilling illustration of how these cycles persist. Number 7, Maria I of Portugal, the pious, or perhaps more the troubled. Born in 1734, she was infamous for 2 things: profound mental instability and her incredibly inbred lineage. Her parents, King Joseph I of Portugal and Maria Anna Victoria of Spain, continued a centuries-old tradition of intermarriage between the Iberian royal houses. They were the 16th such couple. But Maria sealed her own genetic fate, facing pressure as the heir and desperate to preserve the Banza name. She made a staggering decision at 25. She married her own uncle. The consequences were brutal. Half of her children tragically succumbed to complications directly linked to their intense inbreeding. Number 6, Marie-Louise Elizabeth Doran. Her life reads like a Gothic tragedy fueled by dynastic pressure. Her very birth was controversial, born from the deeply unhappy marriage of Philip II, Duke of Orleans, who was forced to wed his illegitimate cousin, daughter of Louis XIV. Marie-Louise, the eldest, surviving child from this cousin union, had no escape. She was again forced into marriage, this time with her cousin, Prince Charles of Berry. Their union produced 3 infants, all dying tragically young. Was it the crushing weight of their shared bloodline? Marie-Louise's documented severe alcoholism, a coping mechanism, reportedly begun at the shockingly young age of 14. Historians still debate the exact cause, but the outcome remains heartbreaking. At number 5, a less known but fascinating figure, Princess Alexia of Greece. Born in 1964, she and her 4 siblings represent one of the last royal marriages between a reigning king and a royal princess. Closer at her parents, Queen Anne-Marie of Denmark and King Constantine II of Greece. They weren't just spouses, they were second cousins and third cousins, twice over. Digging deeper, both carried their own heavy burdens of inbreeding. Constantine had great-grandparents who were siblings and a grandmother who was the sister of his great-grandfather. Anne-Marie's lineage was similarly knotted. While their love seemed genuine, their union as such close cousins inevitably resulted in partially inbred children, echoing the situation seen with Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip. Prepare for number 4. Maria Antonia of Austria, the Habsburg no one talks about. While her uncle Charles II of Spain gets infamous fame as the most inbred Habsburg, Maria Antonia actually surpassed him. Her family tree isn't a tree. It's more like a dense tangled bush. Some might even say a circle. The sheer density of intermarriage meant her coefficient of inbreeding, a genetic measure, was higher than even that of a child born to 2 full siblings. Her story is often overshadowed, but genetically she stands alone at the pinnacle of Habsburg inbreeding. Number 3 takes us back millennia. 317A and 317B. These names won't ring bells, but their story is etched in ancient tragedy. Born around 1300 BC, these tiny Egyptians were the stillborn, or infant daughters of the legendary Pharaoh Tutankhamun and his wife Enka-Senemen. Their short lives scream of the consequences of intense inbreeding. Enka-Senemen wasn't just Tut's wife. Tut was his half-sister sharing the same father. Tutankhamun's own lineage was riddled with generations of sibling marriage. The genetic toll was simply too high for these infants to overcome. At number 2, we confront a modern part. Kimberly Colts, a pseudonym, protecting her identity. She is arguably the most inbreded person alive today. The Colts family became infamous in Australia for operating like a cult, engaging in unspeakably illegal and inhumane practices across generations. This led to widespread police raids and incarcerations in the 2000s. Kimberly Colt stands as a devastating living testament to the catastrophic consequences of extreme, multigenerational inbreeding outside any royal context. And finally, claiming the tragic top spot, Cleopatra Philippator. Forget the Hollywood glamour. Cleopatra's true story is one of relentless, calculated inbreeding. But Egyptian in name, her bloodline was fiercely Greek Macedonian. For centuries, the Ptolemies married brother to sister, uncle to niece, relentlessly to preserve power and pure blood. Cleopatra's parents were siblings. Her grandparents were siblings. Her siblings married each other before she took sole control. Her very name came from a rare Syrian princess ancestor, one of the few outsiders ever allowed. Cleopatra wasn't just a product of inbreeding. She was its ultimate, powerful yet biologically burdened culmination. From glittering thrones to isolated compounds, the pursuit of power, purity, or simply survival through isolation has woven these tragic, complex tales. If today's journey into the profound impact of Extreme inbreeding captivated you, shocked you, or made you think, please? Show your support. Smash that like button. Drop your thoughts or questions in the comments below. What shocked you most? And crucially, subscribe to our